Yo, yo. What's going on, everybody? Yo, yo. What's going on, everybody? Yo, yo. How's everybody doing on this fine Sunday? Game time, baby. Let's get it. I feel like it's been forever, man. Every Sunday, it feels like it's just so long until next Sunday. I don't know why. Yeah, man, let's get it. Let's have a great Sunday here. First things first, let's do a sound check. Make sure everybody can hear. Crystal clear. Everybody can see. Give me 1 second. How was everybody's weekend? How was everybody's weekend? Everybody had a good weekend? Let's get it, let's get it. I do not know why my mic is not registering. Give me 1 second here, guys. Let me make sure everything's good to go. Can everybody hear? I want to make sure everybody can hear. I turned the fan off, but the other one is my computer fan, so hopefully that's not too loud for you guys. But some background noise. How about now? Should be a lot better now. Should be better now. It's good now, Johan. What's up, Trading Mom? How you doing? Taekwon, what's good? Rusty Ray, Ria, how you doing? Tony, what's good? Mike, Mauricio, what's up, man? Elias Copeland, what's good, man? What's good? How's everybody doing? How was everybody's weekend? Everybody had a good weekend? Everybody had a good weekend? Dope. Awesome. Everything's cool. Good to go. Awesome, you guys. Let's get right into it. You guys know the vibes. First things first, let's check out this economic calendar. As always, we're going to get straight into it. I'm going to pull up this zoomed in screen because you guys like this a little bit better. So I want to make sure you guys can see crystal clear before we get started here. Let me know if everybody can see my screen here, which is the economic calendar for the week ahead. Man, I don't even want to talk about freaking Friday, man. I don't even want to talk about Friday. I don't want to talk about Friday. I was punching the air all weekend, man. Oh my goodness. We'll do a trade recap on that as well. Friday morning, me and the mentees, we caught a 600% trade within 30 minutes of the market being open. 600%. 600%, meaning if you put in $100, you got back $600, right? No, excuse me. Yeah, $600, right? You put in 1,000, you got back 6,000. It was huge, right? But a lot of FOMO came after that, and it was my fault. But yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. All right, cool. So everybody can see. Let's hop into this economic data for the week ahead. Monday is August 7th, so let's go ahead and start there. To be honest with you, it's not too much right at the beginning of the week. Nothing really to worry about here on Monday. So Monday we're kind of crystal clear. Tuesday we do have a little bit. It's international trading goods and services. In terms of influence on the market, I would give it probably a 5 or 6 out of 10. Nothing too crazy. Wednesday, good to go. I mean, Tuesday we're good to go as well. There's nothing crazy going on here. Now let's talk about this. Thursday, big day here. Thursday we have CPI and jobless claims. The big focus is obviously going to be CPI, but CPI is going to be huge, right? Absolutely huge. Last week going into Friday was the first time we've really seen weakness, right? Like we've seen a couple pullbacks, a couple red days here and there, but last week we've seen a few hints of weakness, right? I think this is the first time we had a red bar on the weekly in some time. We're going to get into the charts in a minute, but CPI is ultimately going to be the fuel to the fire in terms of going lower, or it's going to stop us in our tracks, reverse, and we're going to go higher. So this does have a lot of influence in terms of the market moving forward. Out of 1 to 10, I would give this a solid 8 or 9, right? This is definitely up there. Following Thursday, we have Friday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have PPI. This is not as influential as CPI, but it will play a part in terms of volatility and price action. Trying to think real quick. There was something else I wanted to add with this week. Oh, that's next week. We'll worry about it next week. Yeah, I was looking at next week's thing. So this week, the only real big economic data points we have are CPI and PPI. We do have jobless claims as always. Um, but yeah, here we are. And 100% Rusty Ray. I was prepared for this downside move. I just didn't. We grasped it earlier in the day. At the end of the day, man, it was just so beautiful, crystal clear, and I just didn't pounce on the opportunity. But this is the economic data for the week ahead, guys. The big key points are going to be Thursday and Friday, CPI and PPI. So make sure you guys put that on your calendar, set alerts. Try not to swing from Wednesday into Thursday or Thursday into Friday. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're good to go. Let's go hop into the charts now. We'll actually start this off with a recap on SPY. All right. So let's do some basic analysis real quick. We're going to pull up a butt naked chart here on SPY. Let's go out to the hourly. Right. So going into Friday morning, right. Let's make some key points here on the chart, right? Let's make some key points here. First things first, I see a major support here that was held at about 451.50 to about 452, right? We can establish that this was a major support. How do I know this was a support? Simply by looking at the chart and the previous interaction that this level has gave actual price action, right? So it started all the way back here. We've seen a big rejection. We've seen another big rejection. We broke out, held the level again from resistance to support, held it again as support, held it again as support, and again, right? On two different occasions. When you're doing your technical analysis and you're looking at the chart, you're utilizing your multi-time frame analysis, this is what you want to see. You want to identify these point of interest, right? Levels that you can see were respected regardless of support or resistance. This is the definition of a level, right? In this case, this would be resistance turn support, and then we broke down again, so it would be support turn resistance. Based off the previous interaction that we've seen with this level, what would you guys say what could happen if we've seen confirmation around this area? Now we would see a reversal, right? It's happened once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? We've seen on 6 or 7 different occasions that this provided a nasty reaction in terms of support or resistance. Why would it not happen again, right? So Friday morning, we were watching this supply here. This is essentially just a break and retest, right? That's all it is. Support turn resistance, resistance turn support, right? So market open, we pushed into this 452 supply. I started seeing some weakness, right? And what made me see we seen some weakness was the first initial test of this level, right? So if you notice when the market comes up here, we literally push into this 452 supply. We've seen a massive rejection, right? It's the first sign of weakness here off of this supply, right? We do have a little increase in volume here. So what I told my mentees was, hey, if we test this 452 supply again, I'm looking to go short with a tight stop loss above 452, right? That was the whole thesis of this trade. Just very simple, a supply rejection, right? So when SPY came back up to retest this 452 area, we made our entry, right? So I simply just entered puts at 451.90. My stop loss was above 452, so I had about 10 cents of risk here, and I was looking for a move back down into that low of the day, potentially even pre-market low, right? So let's pull up some key points here, which actually helps me hold to get a 600% return in 20 minutes. Now, given it was 0 DTs and it was SPX, so that does change the ball game a lot, right? So let's pull up a couple of indicators here. I don't use many, but I was using these on Friday. So let me fix this chart actually. There we go. All right, boom, back in action. So entered at 451.90, had a stop loss above 452. I'm risking about 10 cents here. Let's pull up VWAP. Let's pull up the open in yesterday's high. So when I entered here at 452, my first target was going to be VWAP, yesterday's high, and the open, right? Now this is going to play a huge part in terms of my decision making moving forward if I'm going to hold this trade or not, right? Yesterday's high, open, and VWAP. That was the area of confluence in terms of support on the way back down. Now, I want you guys to really pay attention here. This is a great lesson on price action, is watch how we approached yesterday's high, open, and VWAP, right? So once we rejected this 452 supply, what does that tell us, right? We seen weakness earlier, about 10 minutes ago, right? We seen a strong rejection with the increase in volume, and then we just entered this trade at 451.90, and we seen another massive rejection, right? The way that our mind works as traders, right, especially new traders, when you see a big move like that, your first thought is to take profit, green, 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 green. When in reality, you got to rewire that mindset and say, whoa, hold up here, right? You got to take a step back and say, whoa, okay, I entered this trade. It's working extremely well for me right now, right? It's working extremely well. We got very aggressive price action to the downside, which I'm inputs, right? You got to rewire that mindset to say, hey, all the factors are there for me to hold, right? So I use my levels, and in this case, these indicators, as my stairs to get me where I need to go. If you're going up the stairs, you go 1, you go 2, you go 3, you go 4, etc., etc., etc. So I know that we just rejected 452. The next big level was yesterday's high, open, and VWAP, right? That was the next big intraday level. And I knew, hey, if we broke that, right, if we broke this intraday confluence, we had nothing but room down to pre-market low. So I'm just trading between my levels, level to level. And I watch price action in terms of letting me know to hold or to not hold. So once we got this clean break below VWAP, I simply told myself, and I said, hey, if we break back above VWAP or 50% of this initial candle, then I'm going to go ahead and stop out in profit, right? But this one candle right here, we were already up like 80% at the time. And then from here on out, it was just literally a stress-free trade, right? Moving forward, it was a stress-free trade. Price action was very favorable in terms of the downside. And we got the move we wanted in 20 minutes, right? Trades like this don't happen often. And a lot of times, new traders fumble these trades due to the fact that it worked so fast, right? How many of you guys, I want you guys to say me, if you got into a trade, a great trade, it worked immediately. You got in, you were in profit immediately, and you took profit for no reason. That's how you fumble trades, instead of rewiring that mindset to say, hey, boom, I got into a great trade. It's working well. These are the factors of the trade. Price action looks good. Let me hold into my targets, right? That's how you got to rewire that mindset to not, and that also affects your profit factor, because you get excited when you get into those green trades and it works immediately. Boom, enter, 20%, boom, you're out, right? Your profit factor is going to be all out of whack, because you're going to take that 20% on that winning trade when it had plenty more room to run. And then when you come to a loser, you're going to sit there and hold it for God knows how long, right? So you got to rewire that mindset. And our whole goal as a trader is to cut our winners short and hold and maximize our time in winning trades. In cases like this, it doesn't happen often, right? So I look at it as like a golden gem. If I get into a trade that's working extremely well, you're going to have to pry me away from that trade, right? I even gave back some profit for holding too long, right? Which I'm okay with that. Right, I stuck to my plan. I executed. My mentees can attest to this. Did we not hold for 600%? I can find. Obviously, I can go back to my brokerage. Give me 1 second here. For the naysayers, let me find the naysayers real quick. Give me 1 second here. Let me find the naysayers. Let me find the naysayers. Oh my goodness, I don't know where this is at. I'll find it for you guys. Oh, here we go. Boom. Friday at 10:07 a.m., right? Where's the bottom at here? 10:05, so let's narrow down. I took a screenshot here at 10:07 a.m. That was right here. At the bottom, I was up 609%. Roughly, I had a $165 position. That was my last runner. $165 into $1,000, right? But trades like this don't happen often. I don't want you guys to sit there and go swinging for a home run, 600% returns. The bottom line of this trade recap was the quality of the actual setup, right? I want you guys to understand that the whole point of this trade recap was the quality of the setup, right? Classic break and retest of a major supply, a major demand turn supply, right? You guys can see here. This was a major supply that was broken, held as demand. It was broken as demand, flipped back into supply, and we took a reject off of that supply, right? That's the bottom line of this trade. That was the thesis, right? A break and retest of that major support turn resistance. To go a little bit further in this trade recap, you guys can learn from my mistake as well, is later in the day, we got strong and broke this 452 level. I stayed a little bit too long here, right? So I took it short in the morning. We'll get into the watch list in 1 second, you guys. So I went short here at 452, right? It was a very key level as we've seen on the hourly time frame. Came down, took profit or whatever. We came back up, broke 452 with an increase in volume. So I made an entry, right? I grabbed next week's contracts, and I wanted a little bit bigger of a move because on the daily chart here, we were working our way into that gap fill, right? We had a gap fill from 453.50 into 455, And I knew we had room, right? If we look at this hourly chart here, this is beautiful, right? As you guys can see, what has happened previously, I got faked out here, right? We had a resistance, turn support. You guys seen all these touches. So we broke this major resistance again and turned it back into support. That is why I took a long position, right? And I grabbed next week's contracts because I wanted to hold a little bit longer and didn't want to have to worry about 0 DTs at 1 p.m. So I entered this position. My target was 453.50, and I got stopped out, right? I let a 30% winner go red, right? Essentially, right? So I entered at 452 on the break and hold. For those wondering what a break and hold is, we broke above 452, got that nice 5-minute candle. Here, let me show you guys. Right? So I want you guys to pay attention to this here. This is what you can look for in terms of break and holds, right? This is the breakout candle, 5-minute candle, right? It broke 452. Now let's look at the circumstances of this actual candle. Let's look at the context of it, right? This candle at one point was red. So that means sellers pushed it down. Buyers stepped in, pushed it back above 452, closed strong here. Nice closure above. I entered on the close of that 5-minute candle above 452, and I was in profit fairly quick, right? You can see this trade worked well, but I didn't take profit, right? It came back down to 452, and if I recall right, I even added to my position at 452, and I'm going to show you why I stopped out. Once we came down to 452, there was a very aggressive break that made me change my whole mindset, right? I ended up stopping out below this swing low on the 5-minute time frame. So this was our intraday structure. I stopped out below 451.50. The reason I stopped out was look at the break of 452, right? Just like we had a high volume break on the way up, we had a high volume break on the way down, right? Look at this volume here. It's essentially the highest volume that we had for the past hour or two besides the open, right? So we had a lot of volume later in the day here at 1:30. My antennas were up, right? I was a little frustrated because I just got stopped out of a winning trade after letting go 30% down to 20% negative, right? So I was a little frustrated, but this is a strategy that you guys can also use. So the strategy that I used that morning to catch 600% was essentially just a higher time frame break and retest, a supply rejection, right? And the strategy I used to go long here was simply just a break and hold, a continuation setup, right? A strategy that I could have used and you can use on any given time is a reclaim and retest, right? So that works in the nature of identifying a key level, waiting for it to break, whether it's support or resistance support, whatever it may be. Essentially a failure to go higher in this case, or a failure to go lower. I call it a reclaim and retest, whatever you would like to call it. Failure to go higher, failure to go lower, it doesn't matter. So in this case here, we had this big supply of 452, and what we're seeing on this chart now is we attempted to go higher, and we failed it, right? So we failed this 452. We broke it. We didn't hold it as support. We fell back below it. So it went from support, broke back below it, to now resistance. So what we can look for in this case, and this is actually one of my favorite strategies to trade, my favorite intraday setups for catching reversals. My mentees know this about me. This is one of my favorite setups, right? Failure to go lower, failure to go higher, right? We attempted to go higher, we failed. So now we can use this 452 level for an entry again. All we have to do is wait for it to break back below it, turn it from support to resistance, enter on the retest of that support to resistance. That's it. Simple as that. Bada bing, bada boom. Right? And when it comes to retest in general, just a label of a retest setup, it's a lot easier for new traders to grasp because you have a defined entry, exit, and stop loss. So just like I had a defined stop loss here at this 452 reject, I would have an even more defined stop loss here, right? So we broke back below it with high volume, indicating that, hey, we can take a retest of 452 off this failure to go higher. So all I had to do was literally wait for it to pop back into 452, which it does, right? Pops back into 452, boom, right there. Not only that, there's more confirmation with our 9 to 21 EMA. We have a bearish crossover, right? So if you notice, earlier in the morning, I took the reject, right? We had a bearish crossover. We see continued downside. Now, a bearish and bullish crossover in terms of the 9 to 21 EMA, that's not a signal for you to buy or sell. That's just extra confluence, right? So we had the breakdown that morning. Then we had a bullish crossover and seen continuation throughout the day. And then we had this bearish crossover that was also adding confluence to that break and retest of 452. So that failure to go higher setup that I was just talking about, where we attempted to go higher, failed it, pushed back into it. We're entering on the retest of 452. We had a little extra confluence with that bearish 9 to 21 EMA crossover. So that would have gave us a little bit more insight in saying, hey, we could see a reversal here, right? And that is just the nature of that trade. And that's what I should have done. I should have flipped short here and let it ride. Because as we see on this intraday chart here, there's nothing as support. We have one little intraday structure level here at 451, but other than that, it's a free fall down into these lows. So the risk to reward here was great. I enter on the retest here with a stop above 452. I was risking about 40 cents for a potential $4 plus move down into these lows here. So that's roughly a 10-hour trade, right? That would have been beautiful. Even on next week contracts, that would have been amazing, right? And the rest of the day, we just melted, right? The rest of the day, we literally just melted. That's how you can spot those early entries for failure to go highers, failure to go lowers, and catching reversals, is waiting for those actual break and reclaim and retest of the specified level that's actually breaking out, like that 452 level. And that is why I was a little frustrated on Friday. You know, I was happy I was green because I caught the morning reject. I caught a 600% return. But I was a little frustrated because I could have got a little bit more size in this trade. I could have held a little bit longer, and I would have been a lot more confident. But my confidence took a little hit because I let this trade go from green to red. So it is what it is. But hopefully you guys learned something from that. If you did, save me. If you guys got any questions, feel free to ask it. Let's hop into this watch list. First things first, let's get to it. Let's hop into ES here, see what we got going on. It's a tough week, tricky week ahead, man. It's very tricky here. I gotta fix my chart. My chart's all wonky here. My chart's all wonky. All wonky. But let's go up to the monthly here. You guys know how we do, man. This is essentially the first red month we've had in about 2 months, 2 solid months here. Rejecting that big supply. You guys know this is the same story that we've been singing for the past 3 weeks now. You guys can see where we rejected from. This is a massive supply. If you look back here, the last time we tested this level, sent us all the way down to 52-week lows on multiple occasions. So this is a big pivot in terms of market structure here, and we are in fact rejecting it at the moment. So if we were going to go lower from anywhere, I would say here. Other than that, we have room to all-time highs. So this chart, it's a little wonky, man. It's a little wonky, and I'm going to show you guys why. Coming down to the weekly, very aggressive sell. Like I said, it's literally pinpointed. Right, if you go over here and draw a level from the top of these highs across, it's pinpoint, right? Honestly, should have swung some puts from up here, you know? I should have swung some puts from up here. Just a no-brainer, right? Like, in terms of a swing setup, buying more time, like, what the fuck? So what? You're risking literally this level. So you buy contracts 2 months out, so what? It breaks above it, stop out, you know? So I kind of went against my own system there, but you know, it is what it is. You know, you get caught up day trading, day-to-day basis, life and everything. You forget about stuff like this. And I don't often, you know, zoom out unless it's on Sunday with you guys because I'm so busy throughout the week. I'm mostly just hustling, bustling, and day trading every day. But, you know, this is important as well. I hope you guys grasp that. It's just looking out, right? Like zooming out once in a while, getting a bigger picture. But here we are, right? So let's talk about the current chart. This is the daily chart right now. We're retesting a major resistance that was broken, and now it is support, right? You guys can see what's happened previously, and right now we are testing it. In fact, we have held it, right? So, and looking at the chart here, you can see it a little bit better on the daily chart. Massive structure there we rejected from, roughly that 4620 area. Going down here on a lower time frame, and I'm going to break all this down on QQQ and SPY for you guys. But in terms of ES, I just want to give you guys some line in the sand levels here. We talked about these last week. Same levels moving forward. 44.93, 4,500 demand is the demand I'm watching. I will watch for a bounce there. In the case we get weak below 44.93, we have nothing but room down into this 44.40, 4,400 area. So make sure you guys are taking note of that. I would love a push back into this 45.50, 45.60 supply. As you guys can see here, this is where we just rejected from previously. I would love a push back into this supply here. So for my future traders, keep an eye on these areas that I'm talking about. 44.93, 4,500 for a bounce. Push back into 45.50, 45.60 for a reject. Below 45.93, the party gets started. All right. I'm going to keep it brief here on ES and NQ because I know not many of you guys trade futures. But yeah, man, let's hop into NQ. We'll get straight into QQQ and SPY here in a moment. Monthly here on NQ. Nice little inside bar here. I actually really like this chart a lot. I'm going to explain to you guys in a moment. But beautiful monthly chart here. A little bit of decreasing volume on the way up. I'm not too worried about that. Weekly chart is kind of flipped a little bit here. We have that inverted hammer, little pause bar, and now we have a bearish engulfing. Based off of these higher time frames like the weekly and daily, I would say we see a little bit lower, but ultimately you gotta wait for that confirmation on those lower time frames. Right now, we're retesting a major structure, as you can see back here on the weekly time frame. This was a major resistance that we broke out of and held below for some time. Now we broke above it and retesting it, so it's essentially just a break and retest. This is a major support, right? So this is what I want to go down to the daily and point out to you guys. Moving forward, these are the big levels that I'm watching. On and Q. Let me clean up this chart real quick, actually. We have a beautiful little double bottom here on the hourly. What I'm going to be watching here is a break and hold below this 15,340 is the main watch. I'm going to clean up this chart a little bit real quick for you guys. And it kind of does look like we got a little flag here, unless I'm seeing shit. Could be seeing shit here. Yeah, I'm seeing shit. Yeah, so there's 15,340 to the downside. I would say for scalping this week, as SPY looks much better. QQQ doesn't really have, like, it doesn't pique my interest as SPY does, but that 15,340 is what I'm watching to the downside. Upside, I would probably have to say that 15,600. Outside of that, I wouldn't really be comfortable taking too much else. Below 15,340, we literally pretty much have room down into 15,070 and then 15,000. There's a lot of room to the downside for sure. I would say that would be probably a much cleaner move too, so we didn't work our way back into all those supply levels. But we shall see. We shall see. I think we're going to have a great week ahead. I think we are. The CPI definitely being a big catalyst that can push us higher or lower. So I'm definitely excited about that. But let's go ahead and hop straight into NQ. SPY and QQQ. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. Let's see what we got here. Bada bing, bada boom. Bada bing, bada boom. What's up, Kenneth? What did you want me to repeat? What was it you were saying? Let's start off with SPY. What is it you were saying, Kenneth? If you guys got any questions, feel free to ask at any point in time. Trading, personal, business, doesn't matter. I'll be more than happy to answer it. Feel free to let me know. I'll post them for you, Kenneth. I will. I'll post them for you. Alright, let me see here. Alright, so SPY. Here we are. Spiggity, spiggity, SPY. Same thing as ES in terms of these higher time frames. Very bearish close, as you can see here on the daily for SPY. Big bearish engulfing here. Pin bar off of that supply. But as you guys can see, we're just closed right into that major demand here. So that is the level I was talking about on ES. We do have a lot of increasing volume here on this bearish engulfing. But until we break that demand, we're not going anywhere. Favor, I'm going to talk about that in one moment. So this week with SPY, we've been talking about this 444, 445 area for some time. This is my top watch, right? As you guys can see here, this was a major resistance that was broken, and now it's support. So I will be watching a retest of this area for calls, right? Push down into 444, 445 for a nice little relief bounce here. That is my top watch. If we get super weak again, I will be watching this 444 for a break and hold below for a move lower. We have room down into 442.70 and then 440, 437, and then it's to the hell gates. All right. But yeah, SPY, very simple here, clean, cut, and clear. Nice chart. Just gotta wait for those levels to present themselves. Outside of that, I wouldn't really be interested in much. Maybe a break and hold back back above 448 for a move into 450 and 453, but we'll see. Now, Roger, I haven't messed with MLB, and they mess with the restriction. They got that pitch count timer, and all the hit props are extremely high odds, so I just figured I'd save my capital for NHL and NBA. you know, give me more time to focus on other stuff. But yeah, SPY, very simple. And Minties, Patreon, you guys already know. I'm gonna post a link in the morning with the watch list. And yeah, man, let's see. QQQ. Also, there's gonna be some big changes with the Patreon here soon. I'm gonna post an announcement either tonight or tomorrow sometime. And yeah, man, I want to make sure everybody can see it. So I'm gonna post that for you guys either tonight or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. But yeah, QQQ, we've already went on the NQ higher time frame. Very clean level here at 371.70. We were watching this all last week. This correlates to that NQ 15340. So for those who are wondering, 15340 correlates to 371.70. This was a major resistance that was broken, is now holding as support. So if we can get below this support at 371.70, we should see a lot further downside. So I'm going to be watching for that break and hold or that break and retest for a move lower down into that 370, 368.60, and 365 demand over here. Ultimately, this big uptrend I am concerned about as well, but we do have some room down before we test that. Other than that downside trade on QQQ, I don't really see much. This chart doesn't excite me for the upside. I wouldn't be comfortable until we got back above this hourly structure at 378. So if we get a break and hold above 378, I would change my mind. I would look for those longs back into 380. Then we have nothing but room into this 385 structure. So 378 is the line in the sand for me in terms of the upside. This is kind of like my no trade zone. So in between this 378, 372 area, this would be like a no trade zone. Unless, you know, obviously we can create some trade opportunities, or there could be created off of that 371.70 level. So if we create like a failure to go lower here, attempt to go lower, that same strategy I just showed you guys on SPY, we can look for that. Same thing goes for this 378, 377.50 supply. But outside of that, not really much here on QQQ. I do want to hop into these individual names though. A lot of value moving forward, especially in this name like Apple. Apple's a big market mover. We just broke a trend line we've held from pretty much 52-week lows. Absolutely insane. Except right now we're testing a big retest level here on Apple. Weekly chart, as you guys can see, we're retesting this previous all-time highs. This is a big demand we're coming down into. I'm going to keep an open mind here with Apple. I mean, it's hard to be long-term bearish on Apple. I mean, the pullback I think was a bit aggressive, right? I think that was a bit of an overreaction, but I don't want to be the one to say that. So I just want to focus on price action ultimately. And right now, we have a very clean level here after hours that was created at 181.65. So I would be comfortable shorting Apple below 181.65 down into 180. 180 is a huge demand, as you guys can see back here. That's the line in the sand. If we get below 180, we're likely to see that move down into 176.15. That is what I'll be watching there on Apple. I also do like Apple in the case it gets strong. I don't like it for longs, but I like it for a push back into this 185, 187 supply for a reject. As you guys can see here, this was a major support that held for some time. Now it is broken, so we have that untested supply. I do like that for a rejection. Now my mind might change about Apple, but right now this is what I like on it. This is what I like for sure. Amazon is a long name that I like. I'm a little concerned with it though, and I'm going to show you guys why. Is we're testing this big weekly supply here. We're seeing kind of a rejection off of it. It held up extremely well against the overall market on Friday. So that's why I really like it, but I want you guys to see the magnitude of this weekly supply here. This is, this was a major level for a long time. So I'm a little concerned with that, but I do like this demand, right? My mind is made on this demand. We have a huge resistance here that was broken off that earnings move. This is an untested supply turn demand. So I'll be looking for a retest of this 136, 137 for a bounce. I'm looking for a call entry there. Now this is high risk. I posted this on my watch list as well, but I do like this 140 level. 140 is a big inflection point here. If we get back above 140, I think we'll see a very snappy move into this 143. So that will be on watch for longs as well. Look for a nice break and hold back above that 140. Look to take those longs back into 143. I think Amazon should provide some value for us moving forward. I love that 136, 137 demand, but I also like that 135 as well. So there's two different levels we can really kind of get jiggy with here on Apple. Amazon, excuse me. But yeah, this is a top watch. Apple's more of a side watch if the market gets weak, but Amazon is a top watch. This is also a top watch here if the market gets weak. Fucking Meta, man. It's just been on a tear, right? I mean, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months. We haven't seen a red candle yet on this monthly time frame. It is just absolutely insane. This thing just doesn't stop. 280% return on a beta name in under a year. That is insane, guys. But we're finally seeing some weakness here off of this big supply at about 327, 330. And on the daily, we have a nice gap fill. So this is what we're looking to trade this week. Looking for a clean break and hold below 309.30, right? So I want to see a clean break and hold below 309.30 for the gap fill down in the 301.70, right? So if you go down to the hourly time frame here, we got a beautiful, beautiful flat bottom. As you guys can see here, this was a major support, or is a major support, I should say. So I'm looking for a clean break and hold below. Nice, clean, convincing break and hold below. Look for that 5-minute candle closure with volume. If there isn't volume, stay patient and wait for the retest. We should see a nice smooth move down into this 301.80. 305 is definitely a level of interest, but we should see a smooth move through that. Now, in the case Meta says, fuck it, I'm not breaking down, and it holds this 310 demand, we can look for a break and hold above this hourly structure at 318.40 for a nasty move into that 324. So it should have some value either way, long as Meta moves. I like Meta a lot, right? I like Meta a lot. I love the downside on it, but I would be open to taking that break above 318.40. So just make sure you guys put that on watch. A trade like this or trades like this, you can just set an alert, wait for them, go check them out, rock out. But yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Some people call it a fair value gap. Some people call it whatever they want to call it. I just call it an imbalance, right? As you guys can see, when we moved through this area previously off of earnings, it was like butter. Look at the magnitude of this candle. There's not much holding us up here besides that 305. So we should see a nice smooth move down into that 301.80. Very interested in Meta for a short if we get through that 309.30 and hold below it. PayPal got absolutely waxed off of earnings, right? Broke a major support, so we're looking for a retest of that to go short for a rejection. All right, we have a major support turn resistance here. This is an absolute huge level for those who are wondering what a big supply looks like. Here you go. Right, so what we're watching on PayPal is we're going to watch a little relief bounce back into that 65, 65.50 area for a reject, for a move lower. Right, that's what we're watching there. We also have a huge demand here at 62.50. This is a beautiful setup on both ends for the reject and for the breakdown. Big support over here at 62.50. So if we can get a clean break and hold below 62.50, get a nice convincing break with volume, we could take the hold. If there's not volume, wait for the retest. Go short down into the 61.25 and 60 area. A lot of value here on PayPal as long as we can move. I like this one a lot as well. Meta, PayPal, Amazon are top watches for the week ahead. PayPal, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Big gap here on the daily as well. So if it decides to flip and blow the top off, just wait for the gap fill. 66.90. Breaks and holds above 66.90. It's likely going to push back into that 71.80 level for the gap fill. Big move there. Outside of that, we have Triple M. This wasn't on my watch list, but I do like this. We broke a major downtrend trend line resistance here. As you guys can see, it starts all the way back up here. Second touch, full connector, third touch, fourth touch, big breakout. We're retesting this trend line resistance turn support. We also have a very big demand here. So I just want to keep an eye on this name. This is a name I'm probably not interested in day trading, but maybe catching a little swing on it off this 104, 105 demand. Just figured I'd add this in here for you guys. Might be interested as well. My game plan with this is if we hold this 104, 105 on Monday, just enter a light call swing for about 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out with a stop loss back below that 104. So I'm going to mark this for you guys. You guys can see this as well. My stop loss would be below 104. I think we'll get a nice little pop back into at least 107, maybe even that 110 area again. Or what's this? 109 would be my target here. I think we should see some value here in Triple M if we hold that 104, 105 demand. Cat. We took advantage of this last week. Was it last week or the week before? I forgot. I can't remember. Anyway, we caught this whole move up. Absolute insane move on Cat. But what I'm watching here, I don't think I put this on my watch list. I didn't see it till after. But clean all-time high break here. So we're watching for a retest. As you guys can see, this was a major resistance. Clean break above it. This is an untested demand. So I'm looking for a pullback into this 270, 266 area for a bounce. If you pull back into this all-time high resistance turn support, we can look for a call entry here, all right? I do like this 380 level as well, so if we get strong on Cat and a nice break and hold back above 380, we can look to take those longs back into 290. There is a level here at about 286, so keep your eyes on that. But yeah, Cat and Triple M, they should have some value. Should have some nice value. Shopify. I put this in here for the smaller accounts. Little tricky setup here. Very weak name, but we're approaching a big demand. So as you guys can see here, this was a major resistance that was broken and held as support. It's been tested. We've seen that it's proven to be a big support. So I do like the breakdown below 57.60, but I just wanted you guys to be aware of that 54, 55 demand. Honestly, to be the line in the sand in terms of the downside would be this 53.90. If we can get below 53.90, it's just a clean shot down into 50. This is a gap fill here, so what I would be watching is, honestly, my game plan with Shop would be look for that break and hold below 57.60. Watch that 54, 55 area for a potential relief bounce, right? 54, 55 is huge, as you guys can see here. So watch that for a relief bounce. See some intraday confirmation, maybe a failure to go lower or something like that. Nice little intraday curling. We take a long position there. In the case we just get extremely weak and break below 53.90, look for that break and hold or that retest for the gap fill down into 50. That would be my top watch, is that gap fill. But should be a lot of value here on Shop. It just has to move. This is a nice smaller account name. But yeah, I would keep that on watch as well, you guys. Yeah, that's what I'm watching for the week ahead. We went over QQQ, went over SPY, went over Apple, Amazon, Meta, PayPal, Triple M, Cat, and Shop. My top watches are Amazon, Meta, and PayPal. I do like Shop as well. Cat and Triple M are potential swings, so keep an eye on those. We'll take a couple moments here to go over names that you guys are watching. Someone said Oracle, so let's check those out. If anybody has any questions in terms of charting, trading, business, entrepreneurship, whatever the case may be, feel free to ask it. I'm going to be watching the chat here to go over the questions you guys have or charts that you want me to look at. Feel free to post them. Let's get it. Oracle. Whoa. What the hell happened here? Does this thing only go up? Is that what I'm seeing here? Since 1986? It's done nothing but go up? This is like the ultimate break and retest. Wow. This thing only goes up, huh? I guess so. Does look like we could have some value here on Oracle, though. What is this? I haven't traded this. I can't even tell you the last time I traded this stock. I cannot tell you the last time I traded this stock. I actually like this, though. Give me 1 second with this. I'm taking a drink. And I'm going to check this thing out. Jordan, it's... I would say it's good and bad. It's good and bad. It's unfortunate, but it's good and bad. It's good and bad. Yeah. Oracle here holding a big demand, as you guys can see, and we have this gap fill. So I think there could be some value here on Oracle. Whoever, Rusty Ray, I'm gonna open it back up. It was closed, but I'm gonna open it back up. I'll post a link either tonight. I'll post it tonight for you. I'll post it tonight. I like Oracle. I haven't figured out what I want to do with it yet, but I like it. Got a nice little wedge here. What's the monthly look like? Got that previous all-time high at 106.35. Weekly looks good. I don't know. I think there's going to be value here with Oracle. Yeah, I think we can get some value here. What I would watch on Oracle. Let me see. I don't know who showed me this or told me to look at it, but thank you. This looks actually decent. I just don't know what I want to do with it yet. Give me 1 second, you guys. Yeah, so Oracle. Below 113.40 for sure. So if we get a break and hold below 113.40, we can take that gap fill down to 110. So a nice break and hold below that. It's definitely a trade I'd be willing to take. What I'm going to do is set an alert here now so I get notified when it happens. Other than that, if we get strong, 116.40. I would keep an eye on that. Yep. 116.40. I added that to my watch list. Thank you, Nicole. Google. Let's check out goggles. Right now we're just testing a huge demand. As you guys can see here, this is a big resistance. Turn support. It's holding as support. With goggles, what I would say is big level here at 123. I would say watch a demand hold here at 126, 127, or watch it below 126.20 for a short. Below 126.20, we have a gap fill down into 123. So what I would do is set an alert at 126.20. If we break and hold below that, take Google short, ride it down to that 123 for a gap fill. I would say it looks good. I'm gonna add this to my side watch. QCOM, let's check it out. QCOM, I would say watch it above 122.35 for that gap fill all the way back into 128. If it gets strong again, you can watch that. Above 122.35, should see a nice move to the upside into that 125 and 128.20. I think that looks good. Or watch the breakdown of 120 below 120. So above 122.35 for longs, below 120 to go short. I think that should have some value. I set alerts so I get notified. Yeah, give me 1 second. Do I take starter size on every breakout with volume and look to add on the retest? It depends on the context of the actual breakout. If the breakout has volume, nice convincing break, big candle closure of the level, then I'll take it with size. If those circumstances and components aren't met, then I'll take it a little bit lighter. I'll take it a little bit lighter. PLTR, let's check it out. Man, I'm just not a fan of this stock at all. I don't really like it. But if you guys want to trade it, take it below 18. I don't really have an opinion on PLTR. PFE. Wow, this is getting beat to shit. Big level here at 33.35 on Pfizer. I don't even know what I would do with this one. It's testing this nice little trend line here though. For the third touch. This might actually be a swing opportunity. Let me show you guys why. So right now, we're testing this starting point, connector, third touch, fourth touch, and we have a bullish divergence. I think Pfizer might have some value here to the upside. Bullishing divergence here on the weekly as well. Keep an eye on Pfizer above 35.35. I'm gonna set an alert here. I think we'll see some value on this, and I want you guys to see the strength of this level. 35.35 was previous support, held as support, broke down, pinned below it as resistance. So if we can get back above 35.35, hold that, we'll see another move into that 36, potentially even that 37 area. So should have some value here. Retesting that long-term trend line for the fourth touch. Nice bullish divergence on multiple time frames. Get a nice break and hold above 35.35. I think she'll go. I set an alert there. Should be nice. Costco. Let's check it out. Costco. I do like this. I was watching this as well. 540, 545. Big demand here. If that holds, I would honestly look for a swing off of that with a stop loss below 540. Outside of that, you could take a break and hold below 550 down into that demand, but that's obviously a little risky. Let's see, BA. BA, I would take no hesitation. 223, 225 bounce. You guys can see here, this was a major resistance. 6-month consolidation, pin below that supply, broke out. This is untested demand. I would take that without hesitation. 223, 225 on BA. If you want to be risky, take the break and hold below 230 down into that. Which I actually am going to be risky and take that. I like this a lot. I like this on BA. Thanks for whoever mentioned this. It's a great either or setup. Great either or setup here. Nice. Whoever mentioned this one. Nice, nice, nice. So BA, watch this 230 for a break and hold below to go short, down into this 225, 223 where we can flip and look to take a relief bounce, maybe even a potential swing. I like this a lot. Yep, just going on the mini watch. Bang. Thank you. SQ, very weak. I was looking at this earlier. I don't know what we can do with it, but I mean, right now it has room down into 61s at 65. I just don't know where we can get an entry. Maybe a pop back into 66, 67. We have the 100 MA on the daily and 200 MA on the daily. Outside of that, I don't really see too much here. Just a very weak name after those earnings. Coin. Coin is retesting a major demand here. Very weak close on Friday with a bearish engulfing pin bar. It's tough to say. This 83.85 is a big demand. I don't really have an opinion on this one. Maybe watch for a bounce off that 83.85. Nvidia. These are my last two I'm going to rock out. Nvidia, I would say stay away from unless we get below 440 or above 455. AMD, I would say stay away from as well. Just look at this zone that is in. Big chop zone here on AMD. Big chop zone here. Above 122 or below 107. I do want to answer a couple questions though, so if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them. We'll take a couple minutes here. Where y'all at? Questions. Trading struggles, personal, business, doesn't matter. Get it. If anybody has 1 second, be sure you're smacking that like button, man. If you guys enjoyed tonight's trade recap, if you guys enjoyed tonight's market overview, the economic data points, the watch list, take 2 seconds to hit that like button. If you really want to show love, tag me on Instagram. I'll be more than happy to repost it. If you learned something from the trade recap, be sure to tag me on Instagram and let me know what you learned, man. I'll be happy to repost it. Appreciate that, Sean. I'm glad I can help, man. Seriously. And yeah. Someone asked me about the 101 link. I'm going to post that after this for the mentees and the Patreon. I got that announcement tomorrow. Yeah. Jordan is still in the shop, man. Had 4 flat tires, so I'll get that back probably next month and a half. Laura, I will. I want to be able to post it about it as well. I'll probably do a separate Zoom for that. Because that's not for everyone, just for the Patreon. All pros, man. Shoot me a DM. I'll be more than happy to rock it, man. I'll shout you out and everything. Shoot me a DM on Instagram or Discord. Monday and Friday are exclusive for the mentees, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday I live trade faithfully in Honey Drip. So I'm gonna have a link as well. So I'll post that very, very soon for you guys. Hello. Appreciate you, Jay and Thomas. I don't 101s are only for mentees. So I have my mentorship, and then after the mentorship, I do 101s. Yeah, that's the only place I live trade. Sometimes I live trade for free on Fridays, but someone thought it was a great idea to come at me with some legal issues for live trading on Friday. So I'm not very happy about that. I just have to make a disclaimer. That's it. So I'm gonna do that for next Friday. You know, everybody. I don't know what it is, man. Just no one wants to fucking mind their business. I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it. I appreciate that, Vincent, man. Thank you for the kind words. Sean, it's really not really necessary, to be honest. Leaps, I'm not really a big leap person. I just buy equity. I should though. I'm gonna start. Next big pullback, I'll buy a couple. Yeah, all pros. You can send me a DM on Instagram. Yeah, man. People are haters, man. It's part of the game. Unfortunately, super unfortunate. Of course, man. Big to an ant, but small to a giant. Y'all know the vibes, man. Doesn't make sense. It is what it is, man. I'm gonna continue. I mean, you guys know me, man. I've been doing these free Sunday lives for 2 years. I've missed a handful. I don't think there's a person on Instagram that gives out as much free value as me, man. My Instagram, literally from start to finish, is nothing but educational and informative content. I mean, I should probably post more about myself, but I'm the type of person where if I follow somebody, I try to treat people the way I want to be treated. So if I followed somebody, say for example for golf, I don't give a fuck what they're doing. You know, occasionally they can post about themselves, but I don't want to follow someone for golf and then their page turn into all about them. You know what I mean? So that's how I carry my Instagram. I'm sure you guys want to see me once in a while, so that's why I do the lives and stuff. Yeah, Aristotle's a great dude, man. A great dude. Great, Kenneth. Thanks for asking. But yeah, man. So that's how I treat it. You know, I'm not gonna make my Instagram all about me as a person. You know, it's my trading Instagram. I mean, obviously, I should post myself more probably, but I just carry it with that mindset. Like I said, if I follow someone for golf, I don't want to see what they're doing personally for them every 5 minutes. You know what I mean? If they post about themselves once in a while, cool. I mean, I mean, do you guys appreciate that, or would you guys like me to post more about myself and what I'm doing? I don't even post on my personal Instagram, to be honest. I'm not a big social media person, to be honest with you. That's something that I have an amazing graphic designer that I send ideas to, and they send me back content to post. But outside of that, I'm not a big social media person. I thought I had a water bottle somewhere, but I guess not. Cool, man. Yeah, that's what it's about, man. Providing value. That's it. Like both? Cool. You like golf, man? I've never been a golf person, man. Never been a golf. Post to super more? I will. I can do that. Sir, but I'm gonna call it a night, you guys. I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for taking time out of your night to come kick it, especially on a Sunday. Taking time out of your Sunday to come hang out, man. I hope you guys got some value from this, and if you did, be sure to smack that like button. If you really want to show love, tag me on Instagram. If you learned something, be sure to include that as well. And yeah, man. Hope you guys have a great night. I will catch you guys in the morning. You guys know the vibes, man. Have a good one. I'm out. Peace. Yeah, Turbo's yelling, man.